Hello everyone and welcome to SUNUP. I'm Lyndall Stout. As we turn the page to October, we begin yet another month talking about high temperatures and extreme drought. Today we begin by looking at how the cotton crop is faring about 2 months out from harvest. Here's Dr. Seth Byrd.
So yeah, it's been a pretty rough year for cotton in general. We've had obviously a drought through most of the state for the majority of the cotton season. Looking back to the spring, intentions were to plant a lot more acres maybe than we have in the past couple of years. There was some price support for that. And we've had a couple of decent years back to back, given the weather we've had. But a lot of the cotton this year that was maybe planned to be planted didn't get in the ground, or a lot of it that did get in the ground never established a stand because of the dry conditions. But it was surprising how rapidly that moisture went away. And even in 4 to 5 to 6 days after some of those rain events cleared, we were already planting into fairly dry ground, at least at the top 2 inches where we're placing the seed. Yeah, so coming off a really warm and fairly dry September is going to be beneficial for the crop that remains out there. Maybe not as beneficial as this kind of September would have been in a better year, where we have maybe a bigger crop and maybe we have some immaturity issues because of the boll load. We're probably not going to see a lot of that this year. We're not going to have a big boll load sort of weighing the crop down and keeping us from being mature on time. But anytime you get a warm, dry September, you're going to get a lot more natural boll maturity and boll opening is going to occur. And you're also going to help that crop sort of age the leaves. So when we do get that cold snap, we'll probably get a pretty rapid natural leaf senescence. Yeah, so as far as pest pressure goes, and that's one thing about a drought year, usually if the crop's having a hard time, everything else is gonna have a hard time too. So we haven't had, really, really bad weed pressure. Maybe early on when we had some of those big rains, but over the course of the season, it's probably been one of the lighter years for weeds, probably one of the lighter years that we've heard of for a lot of the other insect pressure. And of course, a warm, dry September is also going to help us with our late season disease pressure. So we're not going to see a lot of our bacterial blight incidents or verticillium wilt. We saw some harvest dates start to go out in late September. It's going to really ramp up now that we're getting into October. There's two things going on. The price has kind of dropped off, and obviously our yield potential has dropped off this year with the drought. So you don't want to go in with your, absolute max inputs on your harvest aids this year. You kind of want to make sure that we're staying within the budget, just like we are every other year, but our budget may have adjusted this year as the season's gone on. Moving forward, we'd like to see it get maybe a little cooler during the day. That just helps us with harvest aids. It avoids any sort of antagonism we might see between weather conditions and our harvest aid products in terms of, damaging the leaves and having an issue getting those off. I'm looking at this solely from a cotton perspective, so I'm going to say we like it to stay dry. I know folks that are trying to establish maybe a winter crop or maybe planting covers back in, to their cotton would like to see a little moisture to get those covers established. If the moisture could hold off till the cotton's out of the field, that'd be ideal. So I guess the good news is if you're harvesting a crop this year, it's probably a pretty good crop. And then looking ahead to, maybe 2023, assuming we get some rain between now and next May, we may have learned some things this year about, maybe that worst case scenario, what varieties have performed well there, and maybe some things that we did that worked well in a year like this, so that, should this ever come back around again, there'll be some things that we can maybe call back on from this year to help us out in the future.